basically a color, you know, to get this sort of thing, and then we basically just cookie cut with the opposite of our rough water. So this area over here is like rough, and this area is calm. So then we can just kind of cookie cut that out and you know, multiply that in to get this area of water. We then got like our short edges in the calm areas, and we're just have a little bit of noise along the edges of stuff. So that's not like a huge deal. And, you know, cookie cut that and multiply by, you know, a little bit. And so we add those together. We just have, you know, a little bit of noise along the edges. Nothing too crazy. We also have normals for all these things. We got our held ripple, which we put together earlier in the stream, which is this thing. Basically, my artist friend dude, Adam there, that is the wrong video. How do I go back? Just pull this up real quick, because it was actually a pretty decent video that he sent me. So the idea was that we get a held ripple along the edges. So the idea was use this noise and then modulate it. So if I could somehow get this line to show up in the shader, then I could use like some sort of noise texture, kind of like this. And if I panned that across, then the ripples would look like that. So I kind of went from there. That's simple. Use a distance field. Yeah, that's what we've got with this thing right here. With so this is like the distance from shore. And as you'd expect, it's like our shore ripple edge detection comes in here. And all we did to kind of modulate that was we actually are adding in, you know, a little bit of noise in here to create our kind of this rippling effect on the edge. And then what we can do is go along here, and when we, so this is what it is normally, and then we do like a power function on it, and then all of a sudden it turns into, you know, our edge. So that's the outside line, and then we combine that with this texture, which I just like made a similar noise texture that and kind of just messed with it. Added, this is just a simple sine function strapped onto some of this, and then when you multiply that together, it'll come together to do this sort of effect for the edge of the water. So that's how we get the edge effect. There's some other stuff. So there's the surface noise effect, which is this effect here. And pretty much all we do is, where is this getting multiplied out? Yeah, this is pretty much just a, we're looking into this Perlin noise thing by a certain amount here. I'm trying to actually get it. This is basically just like the noise with a sine function on it. So you look statically into this texture based on your texture coordinates as a starting point, and then you just multiply off of that by a starting point, and then you just move time. So everywhere kind of starts randomly and then moves forward. into a sine function, so you get kind of this odd shape. And then we just multiply that basically out, and we have some rules on how we applied it, which have to do with sampling like the inverse of the roughness of the water and stuff like that, so we can get maybe like calm areas get more of this like surface noise scattering stuff, and the rough areas don't get any of that. So we can kind of combine that effect in there so that this calm area gets ripple noise effects and this other area doesn't. I think that's pretty much all we do, is that sort of stuff. And that's why we're using Unreal, is because Unreal can actually deal with this stuff. Did I screw something up here? No, I didn't. Alright, good. It's all done what it should. I'm just... And Tails Art Studios, if you're talking about the distance field stuff that's actually available in Unreal, like they've got this distance field stuff in there, it doesn't work with everything. Right, so like it doesn't work with landscapes or whatever and stuff like that, so that's why we made our own texture for that. So that's kind of the thing there that we wanted to avoid, was just having stuff that kind of worked. Because you look at every freaking water tutorial for Unreal, and every single water tutorial is like either a giant ocean where everything's ignored and planar reflections don't work, or it's like a freaking square fountain, and you're like, well, there's a reason this thing is a square, or it's a circle or something. And you're like, well, this is just unhelpful. So I found a lot of it that I was not super impressed with a lot of things. Anyway, I'll get back to actually writing down my parameterized things. Alright, so we got this thing reorganized, so I need to start writing these down. So rough shore edge distance, rough shore edge effects. So you have rough shore edge distance. This is how far from shore we apply rough edges. Rough shore effect threshold. This is how rough water needs to be for the effect. Alright, so rough shore noise speed. This is how fast the noise moves. Rough shore speed noise and rough shore noise speed. Yeah, that's real. Rough shore noise initial offset. I guess I'll just call it offset. And that's kind of how randomized that is. Rough shore noise offset. This is how random the noise is. So what does this do if we change it? Looks like it really doesn't do much. So maybe we can just pop the texture coordinate in there. Well, that obviously did something we really didn't want it to do. So let's just add that back in there. Yeah, let's just ignore that value then. Well, I broke something here. What the hell did I break? Let's just undo stuff. So what, you can't figure out a good way how much memory to allocate without knowing how many lines there are in the file. Well, I mean, why do you need to allocate all the memory at the start? I mean, you could just have an ever-expanding array, right? Just be like, oh, well, you know, it's too big now, so allocate another block. I mean, you could always fseek to the end of the file or something like that to get the number of characters, and then allocate the array, and then read the whole thing in. So you just like open the file, seek to the end. That'll give you the binary size of the file, right? And then read it in using ftell or whatever the hell, right? I forget. I mean, fseek to the end, then ftell to get the number, and then use fseek to, you know, pull out like one line at a time or whatever the hell using fread. Or if that's what you're already doing, then I don't know. I have definitely screwed something up here. But what is it that I have destroyed? It's literally that I took the red channel off of this thing as opposed to the other channel. Yeah, that's gonna be it. I screwed up my multiplications, I believe. No, it's still kind of all sorts of messed up. Does it have to do with the normals? Let's just have it be 0. And just see if the normals are getting all sorts of screwed up here in the world. No, the colors are getting screwed up too. This is... There must be something going on where it's not saving properly. So let's take a look at that. I mean, it is this effect, right? I need to see. I'm looking at my other monitor, I'm looking at what's in the world, and it's just kind of not... not making a whole hell of a lot of sense. I don't think this is telling me the truth. I think this is lying to me. Alright, maybe it is telling the truth. Does it have something to do with these speeds? Yeah, it looks like it does. Looks like we might just be using the wrong kind of noise for this, because it just goes to trash too quickly. Let's see if any of this starts to look any better. Because I'm basically losing precision is what's going on. As a result, stuff's looking wrong. Alright, that's better. That's much better. Alright, cool. Now, we should definitely make this a constant then. If this is something that we can play around with. Alright, so this will be rough, shore, noise, size. Yeah, file IO holo extend is just one of those things that's kind of annoying. Like, a lot of languages, programming languages, have just really ridiculous stuff around file, like file loading that just, there's no real reason for a lot of the complication. So like, I think Python does it right for file rating. But it's pretty funny, like C is all about doing a whole bunch of random stuff. And then like, I love the, like one of my friends was trying to do some Java code and he's like, alright, I just want to read in a file as a string. And he like, you have to do like this ridiculous, you know, try finally closable crap with like a buffer index reader. And you know, like 20 lines of code later, you can read in a goddamn file as a string. You're just like, throw up your hands. You're just like, are you for real? Like, why isn't there like a file.read with, you know, the output being a string? This is not rocket surgery. This is just reading a freaking hello world from a file. Alright, this is how big the noise is. Alright, motion object normals, motion noise texture. Alright, so I think we got this thing simplified down a bit. just a little too prominent. There's a reason we turned this pretty low earlier. It's just supposed to be a little bit of noise around the edge. It's not supposed to steal the show. Alright, this is going to be our calm watercolor. And rough watercolor. Alright, so there's calm watercolor, there is rough watercolor. See, are the other effects that we didn't document very well? This is the surface noise stuff. Alright, so surface noise. How many texture samplers? We got 15 out of 16 different textures that we're using. So we can probably try to get rid of some of these somehow. Alright, so we got the flow field, distance. I need to look over these things. Calm water, noise, texture. Motion noise, distance, flow field. I'm looking for duplicates for these texture samplers. Alright, I think we should be able to get away with some of these. So this is the Perlin noise texture. Let's get this sorted out. So this is going to be the surface noise texture, and then we need surface noise normals. All right. So we need a constant off of here. It's going to be 10. This will be surface noise magnitude. I guess surface noise size. Not all these are going to make too much sense. and this will be surface noise multiplier. It's not multiplier, it's like offset. Alright, so this is surface noise cosine magnitude, cosine opacity. This will be surface noise sine opacity. Are there any other constants that we need in here? Doesn't look like it. Alright, well let's write them down. So this is the surface noise. There's a lot of frickin' toggles for this crap. What a complicated piece of technology. I really like the held ripple stuff that got in there. That actually looked... That I think did a much better job than I expected it to. With the... Doesn't look like a whole bunch of bullshit. It looks like a small amount of bullshit. So, acceptable. Alright, so surface noise size, size of the noise effects, surface noise offset, the randomness of the noise effects, surface noise speed, the speed of the noise effect change, the opacity of the effect cosine. Opacity of the effect sine. Alright, cool, we got that sorted. Alright, so let's move on to the held ripple effect stuff. Alright, so we're going to need the noise texture for this thing. Alright, so this will be water ripple. Let's just call it edge ripple texture. This is edge ripple noise. It's like we got these nodes that come all the hell the way over here. Alright, so we got the edge ripple noise getting shoved in there properly. I need the normals for this. Alright, this will be edge ripples noise normals. Alright, is there any reason this should be like a different value? I guess it's just a value, so it's like the so this will be, what are we calling these? Edge ripple waviness. Let's just waviness. There we go. We'll just try to keep it vague. This is edge ripple waviness. Waviness of the edge ripple. Alright, let's see. What's the speed do? Yeah, I guess it's just edge ripple waviness. Waviness speed? How fast the edge ripple waves below. Alright. So we got all that. Should we mess around at all with these values? Alright, we'll do this. It'll be edge ripple, edge max, or yeah, this should be edge ripple, not shore ripple. And this will be how far away from shore the ripple is. Alright, we should definitely have a constant up here for this is like how thin it is. Edge ripple thickness. And let's put it at, let's see, if it's at 2, it looks like this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We had it at 8. This will be how thick the edge ripple is. Alright, so what is this? This is going to be the edge ripple, I guess, period. And if we set that to like 0.4, then it looks like that. Alright, so this will be edge ripple period offset. Alright, so let's make sure we got these copied out here. Edge ripple period. This is how, I guess, how quickly the shore edge laps. I don't even know a good frickin' word for this. Some of these mathematical concepts are just real bitch to put into words that make sense. This is how random shore edge lapping is. Alright, then we got the noise speed. This is how fast the edge ripple period moves. And I don't even know what to add for some of those. I'm just going to try to make the basic ones make sense. Alright, and then we can go through all the main stuff and parameterize it. And I'll be right back. Well, I'm getting a little hungry here. So I'm gonna eat like a protein bar thing, because then I'll prevent myself from starving to death. So I'm gonna see what Adam's working on at the moment. Was he just, he's rolling in all the money, he's getting all the subs? Is that what's going on here? Nice, he's messing around with stuff, cool stuff. Alright, well, I'll leave him alone. Alright, well, I don't think everybody wanted to listen to me just chewing on stuff. Hello, Soda Jed. How are you doing today? I'm sorry I'm not working on super amazing, interesting things at the moment. I'm just taking this water material and parameterizing it so I can then add a whole bunch of sliders. And not like sliders that are burgers that you would eat. And the reason I'm thinking about food is because I'm hungry. So basically in the game, we'll be able to, in the editor, like click on a piece of water and then like toggle stuff on and off. And this is like super busy, stupid water. Um, and then we'll have it so you like a little checkbox over here. You can be like, and have ripples along the edge, and have directional flow water, and have random noise crap on the surface, and how big that's gonna be, and you can kind of mess with it until you're like, yeah, that's the water I wanted for this little calm pool, or yeah, that's the water I wanted for this river. Stuff like that. I think I'll just put in a little button there that's just like a randomized, fuck my shit up button. Thank you for following, SodaJet. Hopefully you find my cantankerous whining to be somewhat entertaining. Alright, so we got the surface noise opacity, got the calm short edge opacity. Do we have the calm short edge color? This is just calm watercolor. Calm short edge color. This is calm short edge opacity. This is not the same opacity I would have imagined. This is just calm water opacity. So let's get that in there. Where do we add in the normals for this thing? So yeah, if you missed something, it's all good. I think a lot of my channel is just, if you have like something to talk about, it works, to talk to me about it. Otherwise, it's like, just see what I'm working on and be like, well, I wonder what this will look like when he's done screwing around with this in, like an hour and a half. So I figure a lot of people are kind of just checking in to see if my maniacal plans actually did anything, or they were just stupid plans that went nowhere. So we need to actually multiply this value here by another multiply, which is going to be this parameter, which is going to be our calm water opacity, which we need to multiply by. Which will be how much our normals actually get affected by that stuff. So calm water opacity. And we add that in there. Alright, that's working alright. Or falling silent for a bit listening to you. Yeah, that's true. So we have calm water color, calm water short edge color, calm water opacity, Good, that updated. So we got that, I believe, sorted out. So we got calm water opacity, edge ripple opacity. What is this edge ripple stuff? It's actually the edge ripple opacity. Good. And we've got the color there, held ripple. I'm just gonna call it edge ripple color. Just because I called everything else edge ripple, so whatever. I think you'll get the idea. And this is not ambient noise color, this should be our surface noise color to match our naming convention. Edge ripple opacity.